Triple Shot Mindset. So before we begin our episode, I'd like us to each take a Rumi card that gives us insight on where we are energetically, how we can present ourselves, what particular wisdom we might have to share with our listeners and viewers.
Right.
So I've shuffled it at length. Ardy.
There.
Okay, he sees it. Kevin.
There it is. It's just the...
Okay. Oh, man. Know what you want to get for a podcast.
What is it?
Listening is better than speaking.
Oh, perfect.
Noted. Kevin says, every dawn like the sun, we rise from the horizon of love.
It's too poetic for me.
It's beautiful. And Ardy says, when you feel like complaining, give thanks instead. Gorgeous.
Wow.
Which is a perfect segue into the topic of our podcast today. So the topic of our podcast today is something we've been witnessing and observing. Some of us have actually been approached by people asking for help on this topic, and we've all experienced it ourselves. And it is the importance of taking a break from dating somewhere in the middle of the process. So let's say you're single, or you're just exiting a relationship, or you're a chronic dater. There's a name for that. What do they call it?
CD.
Oh, do they? Compact disc? Whatever the case may be, our observations and experiences have led us to believe collectively, correct me if I'm wrong, that taking a break is essential to the process somewhere in the middle. So, Ardy, do you want to kick us off with some thoughts?
I would love that. The monkey branching is what I don't like when people do. First of all, it's disrespectful to yourself, I believe. Because if you have to fill a void with someone else immediately without giving it to yourself first or finding out what it is that you need, monkey branching to the next person, to the next woman, man, whatever it may be, is extremely disrespectful to you. It's like putting a Band-Aid on your wound and changing with another one. Let's see what's at the root of that problem. Why is this still bleeding after all this time? Is there any infection? Let's wait a while, open up the wound, let it air out, let it inspect it, and then we'll heal it correctly.
I love that.
So smart.
Yep.
Of course, I'm always smarter than you two combined, but
Oh, wow. Thank you.
I try not to show it.
I think something that people confuse dating with is product shopping. And people aren't exactly products. I mean, they're patterns. I won't deny that. You pretty much know what you're going to get from someone forever. Nevertheless, they are human beings. And this idea that we need to be constantly seeking or shopping around 24/7 to fill the void of partnership doesn't seem to apply to the healthiest relationships I've seen. A lot of the healthiest relationships I've seen came about organically, meaning that there wasn't necessarily this desperate search. The energy of desperation wasn't part of it. Like, I have to have somebody. It was more like, let me focus on myself and get grounded. And then that will magnetize in, if I'm meant to have a partner, the proper partner. People also think that partnership is a given, the default. Like, of course I should have a partner. That's not necessarily how it works either. Sometimes just chilling, single, is the key.
My mom has a friend, many friends, but she has a particular friend.
Glad to hear it.
And ever since this woman was 45, now she's 75. For the past 30 years, she's been looking for a man. And she goes out on random dates because she wants to be married. And for 30 years, it has eluded her because she's just looking for that person to plop into that role. Not necessarily what she wants or what she needs. She just wants the outcome of a marriage. And so for the past 30 years, she's been alone. She's been dating everyone and anyone in West LA. If you want someone that will be your match, someone that will complement you and not necessarily save you, then you would have to sit with yourself for 3 months, 6 months, a year, 5 years, to figure out why you have this hole in your heart. And no one's going to fill that up for you. No one will. It may be the idea of that will fill up, but it will not help you in any way. When you think of serial daters, It's someone who goes to the buffet and just tries everything, and they're not happy with the selection. They go to the next one, and next one, next one, for the goal of being full, not for the goal of being happy
Yeah.
with their selection.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of offensive to the person that gets plugged into that situation.
It absolutely is.
Yeah.
It's offensive to both, I think, as long as there's no clear understanding. I don't know a lot of serial daters who say to their dates, by the way, I'm just using you for a temporary experience. I hope you
Yeah.
don't mind. If they led with that, there might be a little bit of conflict going on. I remember you saying in a podcast a while ago that you didn't want to identify as a single dad.
Yeah.
You just wanted to be a dad.
Mhm.
And I think a lot of folk take single as their identity. They determine that it's a bad thing, and then they believe it's a problem they need to solve.
Right.
When in reality, it's just a temporary state in the many seasons of life. And the more you fixate on that, the more it becomes your identity.
Mhm.
And the more you absorb this identity of, I don't have the proper partner and I need to find that person. And energetically speaking, from a spiritual perspective, that's not very healthy, because you are judging yourself as incomplete until you have someone. And you may just use any warm body to fill that space and keep it filled at all times.
Yeah.
And that depletes your ability to actually meet the correct person, because you're not magnetizing another whole.
Mhm.
You're likely becoming a frequency match to people who are in the same codependent state or anxious state.
In the Persian culture, we have this term called pickle. Okay. It refers to women who go past a certain age and have never been married.
Like
And
an
so
old
if-
maid.
Sure.
That's the
Mm.
English version.
So if you get to 40 years old and you're still looking, then your parents sit you down and say, hey, listen, you're a piece of shit.
Oh.
You need to stop embarrassing yourself and us as a family and just go with someone and be steady and have kids and just bite your tongue for the rest of your life and pretend you're happy. So culturally, this thing has been ingrained in us that if we're not with someone, there's something wrong with us. We're
Yep.
pickled. And parents go as far as saying, okay, bite your tongue, just get with it, have the kids, the house with the white picket fence,
Yeah.
and that'll make you happy. And then 55% of the people say, no, that didn't make me happy, so they go through a divorce. But as long as you think that marriage is that, I don't know, golden medal that life's going to give you, you could hitch on to anyone to go to that promised land. And most people think that's going to make their problems go away. But it doesn't. It just amplifies that.
That was beautifully said. You are the only divorcee amongst us at this time.
Thank you.
Will you tell us whether marriage solves all problems?
Or creates new ones? Oh, fantastic question. It creates new opportunities for growth if you're with the right person. It creates a hell if you're with the wrong person. So it's not necessarily it creates new problems or takes you to the promised land. It's where you are and where your partner is together with you that creates that euphoric sense of partnership or a euphoric sense of hellship.
Yeah. Oh, I like that you put euphoria and hell together.
Yeah.
Question.
Mhm.
Actually, I think it's more of a reflection to what you just said, because it's beautiful and it's essential for our listeners and viewers to understand. If you listen to the gold bomb that Ardy just dropped,
Thank you.
he said marriage itself isn't a solution. It's a mirror to who you are and where you are.
Yeah.
So whether you have this ability to optimize yourself and be growth oriented, or whether you're just going to dump all your baggage at the door, that's what it's going to magnify.
Yeah.
It's not going to save you. It may not even change you. It might just enhance what you already are. The same as handing $1 million to someone. People always want to win the lotto, but they don't realize that when you get more money, it just enhances who you already are. It doesn't change you. It just brings out what's inside.
Yeah.
So my advice is to circumvent the entire system. Come right back to yourself. Get present with yourself and start loving yourself intensely. And let the right partners magnetize to you. Magnetism is the highest form of manifestation.
Yeah. Kevin? I'll share a story
Please.
about my younger, zit-riddled days of college, my brother and I were dating a girl.
Together?
Well, I was dating her.
Yeah.
So after about 8 months, we parted ways. And I felt an emptiness inside of me that I had to fill. So the next semester, my brother and I, we walked into a classroom, and I told my brother, this half of the room is mine, that half is yours. And the whole thing was to date as many women as we can to fill that void.
Mm.
More so me than him. So probably I went on 20, 25 dates, and I could not find a replacement for 3. The name 3.
Was that really her name?
Let's say Theresa.
Oh, okay.
Theresa. Yeah, okay, there you go.
I like that.
No, her name actually translates from,
Oh, her native tongue.
okay,
To 3.
Theresa. Nobody replaced Theresa for me. And then I found another girl that I felt, oh, same ethnicity, same nose size. That must be her. My point is, I wasted 4 years trying to replace Theresa.
Yeah.
And I realized, what the fuck was I thinking? You can't replace people. For me, I was looking at the same aesthetics, ethnicity, because I thought because I lost that, I have to fill with a similar, but I didn't have to do See, that.
Mm-hmm.
That was a problem I think he had. Yeah, and he would call me monkey brancher, and I didn't get it until much later. I realized he's so right, because I needed to be connected to a woman at all times, no matter what, instead of sitting with myself and thinking, what do I really want? So he hasn't been single since 18, right? That was 18 years old, and now you're 52. And 48. You have not been single for a single day in that transition. Like, transitions had to be filled quickly with people. And I think that's what's wrong with dating today, because you have so many options. You know that if this one goes, the other one can quickly take its place.
Yeah.
And if you want the marriage as an outcome, so, okay, this one didn't fill it, this one didn't fill it. Oh, I'm going to hit up number 75 later on, but let me just fill my time with these other ones. And it just becomes a
Distraction.
distraction.
What it is you're looking for something, someone to distract you from yourself.
Yeah.
And if you deny that and you say, no, I'm not, then stop looking for a partner altogether.
Mhm.
Prove it to me.
Yeah.
Stop looking for someone altogether. Because if you are looking for a partner, you are looking for someone to distract yourself from yourself. If you weren't, you would be able to sit with yourself 100% and not be out there looking. Now notice the distinction. I'm not saying you can't want a partner. I would love a partner, but I'm not looking for a partner. And I know the magnetizing will happen when the time is right. Or not. But by sitting with yourself and being comfortable, it doesn't actually matter.
Yeah.
Whether it does or not come to be.
Yeah. The best time of my life, as hard as it was the period after my divorce. Because I finally got to sit down in that room over there by those stairs
Right there.
and think about who I am and what I want out of life. And why is it that I'm drawn to certain types of people? And even during dating, you guys used to tell me, why are you looking for a boss bitch?
Yeah.
Why do you want that? Why don't you want someone who's kind or this or that? And I always thought, if I have a person of a certain type come in, I don't have to step up to being a man or a leader. So because I had to go through those growing pains, now I know that, okay, I have to step up myself. I have to fill in those gaps in my personality or emotions myself. And once I'm whole, then whoever is attracted to me is also going to be whole.
Yep.
And if someone is attracted to me and they're not whole, they have all these little holes that they want me to fill up, I think that's very desperate on their part, and it's unloving on my part. Because if I love myself, yes, I can give a little bit of myself to people. If they're that far away from the rim of their cup, I can pour a little bit into theirs. But if they are halfway and I'm full, and they're not willing to fill up their own cup, then why should they take from mine? And it's not, I'm not trying to be selfish. I know in partnerships you got to give a little bit and get a little bit, but I cannot be the only person that pours.
Absolutely. Partnership is a transaction, make no mistake. Everything in life is transactional, even kindness. You give so that you can feel good at
Right.
the highest level of kindness.
Yeah.
But if we get into these relationships that are transactional, where we don't even like the transaction, that's a problem. And too many people are willing to get into relationships where they hate the transaction, what's being exchanged. They're overgiving, they feel unseen, they're pretending to be someone else, but they do it just to have a warm body next to them. That is a call for help, a cry for help.
Yeah. And the best way would be to take their phone away, to take their app away for a while, and just let them sit by themselves with themselves. And you realize the things that you want out of people, you got to give it to yourself first.
Starting with validation, witnessing yourself, learning to be comfortable in your own presence. If you don't like your own company, you really expect someone else is going to want to be with that?
No. It's not just, I'm single, you're single. Let's get together and just be happy. Mingle. Wow. You're single, I'm single, let's mingle.
Yeah.
I think most people fail to see beyond those dating profiles. They see someone in a boat or someone smoking a nice cigar. They're like, wow, that would be a nice husband material. And all my problems go away. Financial problems will go away.
Yep.
My loneliness will go away. The fact that I have to wash my own dishes will go away. The fact that I don't love myself, someone else is going to love me and validate me. That thing will fix itself. And it doesn't. It really doesn't. So when you guys ask me about I'm the only person that was divorced in this group of yours, once you get together with someone that you feel like they're going to complete you, I think that's a problem.
Yep.
I thought my ex-wife was going to complete me. I thought my ex-girlfriends were going to complete me. And I always knew that it wasn't to a point that I could handle myself in life without the help of other people. My mom was there for me when I was growing up. My brother was with me when I was growing up. So I don't have to fill out those holes myself. But the divorce taught me that you shouldn't be with someone because you want them to complete you. You want them to complement you. You want them to be your best friend, your co-conspirator in this future you're going to try to build for yourself. But you cannot rely on someone else to complete you. And if that's your vision and mission for a partner, a long-term partner, then you're in the wrong business.
100%. You said something about just because someone is single doesn't mean they're compatible with you. And that is so important. When you're single yourself, the first thing that society and culture wants you to believe is that all the other single people in the world are fair game. They're not. This is where compatibility is so essential. You must know yourself in order to even understand what types of people are compatible with you.
Yeah.
Are your personalities compatible? Are your values compatible? Not the flapping your yap of what you say you want to be or who you say you are, but actually who you are in the day to day. And you don't even know what the fuck that is if you're not spending time solo. If, as you said, you're not filling out the holes yourself and doing your own grocery shopping, figuring out what you like to eat, figuring out how you like to spend your time when you're alone, what you like to watch, what occupies your mind. Because if you don't know those things and you don't even want to look at them, once again, it gets back to you're just looking for a partner who you can fasten yourself onto and be absorbed by.
Yeah.
Their identity will become your identity.
Yeah.
But when you're solo and you build your own truth and you discover your own heart, then you actually have the ability to partner really powerfully with another person. Partnership is what the dream is, not being absorbed into another person until you lose yourself to such a degree that it's like you don't exist, because that's a special kind of misery.
Yeah.
I've lived it. I wouldn't wish it on anybody.
Even friendships. I've had friends, or I have friends who occupy their time with another group of people. They cannot sit at home by themselves on a Friday night because that would be, God forbid, problem. They lose themselves, they lose their identity in someone else's.
Yep.
And if I could tell you guys about some of the stories I've heard from these individuals that I used to be friends with, they cannot sit by themselves for 10 minutes. They cannot go one day without being validated by their peers, by the other two in the group. They cannot have an opinion of themselves because they want to make sure that they're accepted in the other dynamic. And the moment I had different thoughts and different actions than them, I was cut off. And I think in a relationship, when you have a man and a woman, that as long as you're behaving a certain way, as long as you're putting on your fake self for me, or I'm putting on a fake self for them, it's going to work out. But in a relationship, people change, they drift apart. And if you're in a good relationship, you can still appreciate those differences. And if they're becoming more and more, you can still appreciate them and deal with them. But if you're looking at that separation as changes being bad, then you're going to suffer. So for me and my ex-wife, she was another trajectory and I was another trajectory. And to me, that was, why are you doing this? All of a sudden you want to grow. What's that all about?
Mm-hmm.
And it's just after the divorce, I realized that change is good. And the people who hang on to being exactly the same as they were before, that's going to lead to issues and unhappiness. And they're going to start looking for happiness outside the marriage. So my point is, we have to be honest about who we are, what we're looking for, what we're willing to put up with. And if someone doesn't match 90% of what we want, now it doesn't have to be that we all have to be 100%
No, not at all. You don't have to
same,
be perfect, whole,
right?
or the same either.
But we have to make sure that that 10% difference, we value it and we accept it
Exactly.
versus we fight for them to be like us.
Exactly.
Kevin. I'm going to go back to 10 minutes ago when you're talking about being compatible, being best friends. I disagree with the best friends part wholeheartedly, because you cannot be best friends with the person you sleep with.
Mm.
You seriously cannot be. There are secrets, there are desires, there are thoughts that you can only share with somebody that's not in that dynamic.
Hmm.
And why do you think you can't share that with that dynamic? Everybody that I've talked to, the people that I've talked to, they say as much as you pretend that you're best friends with your lover, there is a line you cannot cross. There are things you cannot share together because men are different, women are different. You can share it with your twin brother, you can share it with guys you're drinking with, but if you told it to your wife, she'd slap you. Okay, I used to think that, and I'm not necessarily saying that we have to be best friends with our partners, but I'm saying if you're hiding certain truths about yourself and you can only tell your brother or you can tell your friends, and you can't tell your partner because you fear she's going to slap you or leave you, then are you in the right kind of relationship? You have to be very good friends with your partner, very good friends. But for example, you're not going to go tell your wife, God, your hair looks ugly today. You look like a chipmunk. But you can go tell the guys, hey, my wife looks like a chipmunk today. Her haircut is horrible. For example, okay? I'm just saying there are things that you cannot share with your spouse because no matter how open-minded you are, they can never be your best friend. Then are you with the wrong person there? No, I'm just saying this is a rule of the universe. In order for your rule of the universe, you can't just slap
I'm
it.
telling you.
This is a truth, this is
How many couples do you know that are best friends besides the one in Orinda, California? How many?
I do. But can I tell you something?
Yes.
They are mostly non-heterosexual relationships.
Mm.
So what does that tell you? That maybe men and women misunderstand each other. Often
So you prove my
intentionally.
point. You prove my point.
And
Okay? Like I can tell things to my brother that I cannot tell my wife. Not because I'm hiding anything, because there's feelings that men like to share and they understand each other better than if you tell the opposite sex. It may take it the wrong way.
I would say that that's often true, but I wouldn't say that biologically that's because of a man-woman thing.
No,
I'd
not
say
at all.
it's cultural and it's societal and it's the way a lot of people are programmed. I have been in several long-term relationships and during that time have been best friends with all of my partners. But I also understand what you're saying, which is that you can't make your partner your everything. They can't be your one best friend, your one go-to who you're going to share everything with. You need friendships, you need a community. One person can't fill it all up for you, and I think that's an excellent point.
If the relationship becomes sister brother, best friends, it's no longer has that magic dynamic of a man and a woman.
I mean, I know where you're coming from. If the 10-year ago me, I would agree with that. But once you start understanding that the person you're with can be your best friend, can communicate freely without fearing, oh, she's going to leave me or she's going to think differently of me. If you fear that your partner is going to get angry at you telling her the truth or your desires or your thoughts or whatever, then you may not be in the right relationship. And 10 years ago, I swear I used to think like you. But there's a level of intimacy where you can be yourself with your partner. You can tell them what's on your mind, what's on your heart, what you fear, what you desire. And if they judge you or they can't stand the fact that you're telling them the truth, then you're with the wrong person.
No, I disagree. I mean, I agree with you 100%, and that's not what I'm talking about. Yes, you have
Give
to.
me an example, not just your hair looks like a skunk, because that would
Give
be...
us like real life specifics so we can granularly dissect.
If you have a problem,
Like what?
you're putting me on the spot. I don't know. I'm just saying, if you have a problem, and I found this true with every single person I've been with. Yes, you pretend you're all open-minded. I'm not talking about your truth. Yes, you can tell your truth. You should be able to tell your truth without being judged, 100%. That's not what I'm talking about. There's a layer. You said the 10% that you don't have to be identical or on the same exact wavelength is good.
But that has to do with personality types or thoughts or desires. I'm talking about if you have to, let's say, I go to you and say, man, I'm not happy with my relationship.
No, I'm not talking about that.
Okay, what are you talking about?
Yes, be honest with your partner, be forthcoming, say everything, talk about everything. But I'm saying when you change the dynamic of a man-woman relationship to, oh, we're besties, it doesn't work. It becomes a bestie relationship. It becomes a sister-brother relationship. It loses its oomph.
Yeah, I kind of get that. I think it just depends on what kind of bestie we're talking about here. Because there's different, let's say in a straight relationship like the ones we're talking about, if the male's going to treat the female like one of his bros, that's probably going to kill it real quick.
Yeah, that's not what I'm talking about.
That's not the kind of bestie stuff we're talking about, though. We're talking about intimate heart connection where you feel safe and you don't need to put on a performance. If you expose your true self and you're not performing for them, they still get you, and it doesn't dilute the sexual attraction or the desire for partnership.
100%, I agree with that part.
All right.
I believe what I'm saying is there's a whole different compartment that you cannot, like, let's say you want to talk about football.
Yeah.
Okay, we're not talking about football that you can't talk
I said a whole different compartment. So leave the whole, oh, my desires, my inner dreams. Yes, I agree with that. Yes, you do that. I'm talking about another compartment in this whole thing. The girls that pretend, just as an example, one of my exes pretended she loves basketball. And she'd sit next to me and say, oh my God, bestie, we're watching basketball together. We love this game
We're not
together.
talking about that, Kevin.
I got the other part. I'm just saying everything else I agree with. But you're completely failing to see another part of it. That's when marriages, relationships go bad. And I can tell you from experience, is because you pretend that they are your best friend. Yes, they're your best partner. You are open with them about your thoughts and desires and your truths. But you always need another, I think, person where you can vent to, when you can take advice from. That person, I'm saying, is not, for me, at least for me, has not always been, that's the same person. Is not my best friend and my wife at the same time.
Can I say something? Could it be that when you've been in relationships every day of your life since you were 18, to compensate for not having that time alone to be single and learn who you are, having that third party friend is a release valve for you, a release of pressure, because you've been in the relationship dynamic so much. Of course, you could never see a partner as a best friend because you see them differently. I'm just spitballing here.
I
But
think for 35 years, you've never had room to breathe and do anything else besides tend to them. So a best friend is needed outside the household for you to go in and just talk
Be
about
you.
football and be you, and then come back again and be the role of the husband or
Well,
boyfriend.
do you know couples that are best friends and they don't talk shit behind each other's back and say, oh, I can't breathe without her being next to me? Do you know couples that are...
When I talk about people that are in a healthy relationship, if you think someone's breathing down your back and not giving you space, that's different. I'm saying for a person to be someone's best friend, or at least count on them that they're not going to judge them, they're not going to go against them, whatever. If I can tell my partner, listen, I need some space, and it's like, take all the space you need, I'm here for you. Versus, why are you leaving me? Does that mean you don't love me? Yes, of course you can be friends with that person. But if you are with someone that you mutually love each other and you want the best for each other, then you can be best friends with them because they're not going to judge you. They're not going to take it personally. They're going to say, oh, then you're taking, let's say, your brother over me.
All I'm saying to that is, yes, there are people out there with that dynamic, but it's probably 5% of the married population. That's all I'm saying. Because, yeah, that would be a beautiful relationship to have, where the other person says, oh, you need a couple of days away from me. Yes, take it. But I think the reality is more so that, wait a second, I'm your wife. How can you ask to separate from me for even 2 hours, let alone 2 days?
Right. Yeah. So I'd say people who are like that, they are more concerned about themselves and the hole that they have, that big hole that they have. You're filling that for them. So the fact that you want some time off, it exposes that wound for them. No, come back here. Let me slap you on this wound and you're going to make me whole again. So you have to understand that if you're with someone who has all these traumas and wounds and lack of self-love and all that
I
things.
think it's expectations.
But expectations comes from, because let's say if I had all these wounds here, I'm like, okay, this man is going to be my best friend. This man's going to be this provider, right? The moment you take one of those off, you say, you know what? I just want some independence right now. You expose that wound for them. And they're going to say, oh, that hurts me. No, they're going to blame you for it. Like, how dare you? I'm your wife. You got to take me to the Lakers game, right? I'm saying if you want to be best friends with someone who's complete, who's not codependent on you for everything, then that dynamic works. If you're best friends with a codependent, then you have to find some avenue, like you said, to blow off your steam.
Yeah. If you're a partner and you are in some kind of codependent dynamic, then they will never be able to feel like your best friend, unfortunately. I would agree with you on this, Kevin. 95% or more of the heterosexual, heteronormative, male-female relationships that I see are in codependent and meshed dynamics, where one is being absorbed and the other is being abandoned, and they flip back and forth like a game. I think, though, having known many relationships outside of that dynamic, that it's, again, not because they're male and female, and I don't believe in these fundamental biological differences that cause them to naturally be enemies. I think it's a lot of enculturated programming that causes that barrier. And I see more and more healthy relationships, like you're describing, Ardy, coming onto the scene where even in heteronormative situations where it's male and female, they're deliberately choosing to show up as whole individuals who have done their work than people who are just putting that Band-Aid on and saying, you will be the bandage for my issue. But if you remove yourself, my issue will now be revealed. That's more like an old paradigm that we're growing out of, I hope.
Yeah. I remember when I was with my ex-wife, we had that dynamic that I could tell her whatever and she could tell me whatever. But there was still a part of me that was, I guess, longing for that codependency. So if she would say, hey, I'm going to go on a 5-day trip, sayonara, a part of me would say, wow, this is great because I get to be in this dynamic that we can do whatever we want to and we have the freedom and have the support. But if that 5 days turned into 6 days, I would start feeling anxious. Is she going to leave me? Is she? And that's why I wanted her to be around more. That's why I loved having this boring life to sit at home and just make sure she's here, she's around me, she's protecting me, she's being everything that I want her to be.
Yeah.
But as I'm growing and I'm filling my own needs, I think when someone comes around that they haven't done the work, or someone comes along that they say, no, please stick with me, please stay with me, then of course I have to find him or you to vent to, because I can't do it with them anymore, because they're a sick child stuck to me. And I just have to sometimes just peel them off and say, hey, you stay here for 2 minutes. I'll be right back. I'm going to go to the bathroom. Wink, wink. And then go text my friend and say, God, man, get me out of here. That's why I say if you can be best friends with someone, it has to be someone that's whole. You can be best friend with someone who is not.
Triple Shot Mindset.